Hi, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Phyllis Italiano, and I am the hostess of the show called The Democratic View. You know, in the past, we had all of the candidates that were running in the election this past November, and today I have with me one of the winners. I must say she's the prettiest of the winners, and her name is Sylvia Overby, our new council person.
Thank you very much. Good to be here. Good to be here in these circumstances. So it was a long, hard-fought battle, but it was worth it, obviously.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, because there may have been some people who didn't see you in the last show when you did give us your background. So give us a little bit of that.
Well, I'm originally born in California, Southern California, but grew up in Florida. And met my husband when I lived in Atlanta. And my husband's from Huntington, Long Island. So we had a bet on where the best beaches were. Living in Atlanta, you miss water completely. You're really in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains. But so I said Southern California, and he said it was Long Island. And I didn't believe him until we came out here. And, you know, everybody has that spot where they fall in love with this place, or they don't, but I did. And it was driving on 27 somewhere, we think we were between Watermill and Bridgehampton. And I thought, everything about it just was perfection. And walking on the beach later in that day, I said, this is it. This is the place.
Yes, I remember when it hit me that I fell in love. And it was as I hit that beautiful house on the right-hand side or the left-hand side as you're coming into 27. And I thought, wow, what? And turning the corner and seeing that
in East Hampton.
In East Hampton.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Because I had gone to Fire Island for so many years, and I thought Fire Island was the end of the world, you know. But coming here, I said, wow, this is Manhattan by the sea.
And in a good way. It is beautiful beyond almost anything that I know of. And I've been, you know, blessed to be able to travel. And I always feel that my heart, everything is here in East Hampton. It is the place I want to be.
I couldn't agree with you more, and that's going to be our job, which is
now it is.
To keep it the way it is, you know, so that we still have this wonderful vistas of light and land hitting the sky, which is such a wonderful treat. So tell us a little bit about running for office, and what is that really like?
Well, there are always, you know, as with any endeavor, there are good things and bad things. And the best thing about running for office are the people that you meet. And even if they don't vote for you, you know, you're not always talking to your people in your party or people that, you know, even live in the town particularly, because we do have a lot of crossover. If I'm campaigning in Waynescott, there were people at the post office that really lived in Southampton. But you need that perspective as well. It is our neighbor, and so it was good to talk to people, to get to know people. I saw people I hadn't seen since my kids were in school, mothers and fathers of children, so I got to catch up on some of, you know, what was going on in their families and in their lives. So it was really a treat to meet people and then talk about issues, because you really do get a flavor of the community that you live in. You know, and then the hard parts are, you know, some of the so-called accusations that people say, things that they think they know about you and they don't know about you. Those are kind of hard to swallow, and but you persevere. And knowing the community, I think, and knowing as many people, my kids were raised here, went to school here, all through the public schools. You come in contact with an awful lot of people. And I was involved in a lot of different groups and organizations.
Yes, like what?
Well, I always kid Joan Tulp, because when we first moved to Amagansett, our kids were just really, really small, and she was trying to get them interested in and telling me where they can go. There was a summer school program for them, and so she said, you might want to come to an Amagansett Citizens Advisory Committee meeting. Okay, so went to one of those, and there was an issue it seemed important to me that I wanted to get involved, and so I got involved with the Amagansett Citizens Advisory Committee, became the chair of that within a couple of years, and you start to learn your community by getting involved in those things. Within, on committees for the comprehensive plan, for the Recreation Advisory Committee when we had one. My kids were playing soccer and football, and so those were some of the other issues. Where are the kids going to be able to play sports and have outside sports that are organized but not necessarily by the school system? So those were all things that were kind of happening in the 90s and early 2000s.
And also you did some time on the planning board.
Well, yes. And that was a big, appointment that I was very happy to be able to serve the town as chair of the East Hampton Town Planning Board. And that appointment was for 7 years. And I enjoyed it and got very involved, understanding our town code, understanding our zoning, understanding the issues. It gives you a different perspective because you're dealing with applications from people that, and most of the applications we dealt with were either land use or site plans, which were commercial. And so you understand the plight and you get to know the businesses a little bit better than just patronizing them as a customer. Now you get to understand what their needs are in order to become a really effective and be able to make money within the community. And you have to balance that because they'll have neighbors or there'll be other issues that come up. So you have to learn how to balance really well and listen really well.
And when you were on that planning board, you served with one of your running mates, Peter.
I did. I got to serve with Peter Van Scoyoc. I met Peter for the first time when he was put on the planning board. And one thing that probably a lot of people don't know, but maybe they do if they get to know him better, is that Peter Van Scoyoc has a sense of humor.
I know.
And I don't know where to put it. It's somewhere between being this sort of British, dry sense of humor.
Yes.
But then can also be, just outwardly belly laugh kind of sense of humor at the same time. And so it's really been a pleasure to get to know him and then to run with him through a campaign. It's almost, I saw him and Zach Cohen more than I saw my own family during the summer because we were up and going, as many mornings as we could, and afternoons and evenings would be meetings with groups. And it's a lot of work, but, these are the gifts that you're given, is that you get to know people really well, people like Peter and people like Zach.
Yes, and Zach, we all know, lost by 15 votes.
15 votes.
And Peter won. So now you and Peter are both serving as council people with the 3 Republicans.
Yes.
And how many meetings have you had so far?
Well, we've only had 2 meetings, a work session, and which was also the organizational meeting, and then we had 1 town board meeting. So I'm 5 days into the job.
And how do you like the job?
I like the job. This morning was spent at the scavenger waste plant, learning about some of the issues that are there, and which is our wastewater plant. So we need to, these are all issues that affect everybody in town. So that was something I wouldn't have done on my own if I hadn't been put in this position. Learning about CPF purchases and where the town is headed. And, it's been a jam-packed days of senior committees come in and talk to me, and people from environmental issues, people from the Amagansett Protection Committee, the Accabonac Protection Committee, sorry. So, everybody has an issue, and it's very important to them, and it's very important that you can respond.
Well, it's like I have said before, while the election is over, the issues continue.
Absolutely.
and they are very vital issues. I know in my own area, the Springs, we have a meeting coming up about the housing situation there, which is a very delicate one. And we have Ms. Quigley coming to the next meeting of the Springs citizens, concerned citizens.
Well, at the last town board meeting, with past Thursday, the public portion was, I think there were 4 speakers, that all of them were from Springs, and all of them about issues affecting people in Springs.
Yes, it's really sort of, I'm going to use the word hotbed, because it really is like a hotbed, you know, but I mean, we have the tremendous problems with the people who are not related, who are overcrowding into the area, and concerns about our septic systems and water situation and all that kind of stuff. So that, I think, will probably be a continuing issue that will go on. And I know we have a couple of very talented and energetic people from the Springs who are working on that all the time. And we'll all have to be involved.
Yeah.
And
you know, the issues were effective code enforcement.
Yes.
And so, which is really related to the overcrowding issue. And then the overcrowding is related to some of the septic issues. So everything has a place, and it sort of all starts with making sure that the zoning is in place, and then that the zoning is followed. So then everything kind of goes with that. Mm-hmm.
And another one of the you did mention the scavenger waste situation, which is also another one of those very prominent issues that, and I don't know where we are with that one right now. Where are we?
Well, the reason I was there today was it was a walkthrough with people that may come and bid on running the scavenger waste plant. And it is an issue that is going to require, for me, a lot of knowledge and a lot of questions to ask on whether or not the town can run it effectively, whether it needs to be bid out to others. It was run effectively by the town in the past. I want to know what changed to make it not be as effective. I know that that the contract now is being run by another company. So that company is going to also be one of the bidding companies, I think, to move forward with it. But it needs some updating. And there's...
Yes, the DEC says that too.
The DEC says that it needs to make sure that it complies. And the rules have changed a bit with the DEC. They're a little more stringent than they were. So they need to, for the East Hampton plant, so they need to make sure that those rules are followed. I would probably err on the side of caution to make sure that the plant meets all those requirements and doesn't put any of them aside or say, well, we'll do this later. And so I hope they don't ask for some mitigation from the DEC in order to not comply with all the new rules.